Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your Brighton versus Chelsea FA Cup 4th round preview. Guys, the devil has come knocking on our door a few days after the window has closed. We tried to warn you. And when I say we, I mean we. We all knew we needed a striker. We all knew we needed additions. But rest, keep composed, because we're not there yet. We're going to discuss. We're going to discuss very short, abrupt presser from Maresca with very important news that we need to get into. We're going to have some friends along the way, some collaborations in this video to help get some extra insight, because I am up to my neck in nonsense. Yeah, I'm really worried. I'm really tired. I don't know what we're going to do. I dare speak of the issue. So let's just get straight to the FA Cup, the importance of that first, because I don't want anyone to be under any illusions. This is a trophy. This is Wembley, the road to Wembley that we're talking about. Silverware is what our club is about. We're not here to participate. We're here to take over, dominate. And for me, over the last couple of years, we haven't done that. We've just been in and amongst it, but we haven't picked up anything significant. Now, you could say the Conference League's there, but I could say the disparity between the quality of the teams and the money makes it a null and void, makes it a pity party. I need something that, creates a few shockwaves, something that ripples, something that gives me a little bit of excitement. The FA Cup, the history of it, the Didier Drogba moment, the Di Matteos, think back, cast your minds. Beating big teams like Manchester United, Arsenal in these finals, it meant something. You don't get that caliber of team in Europe in the competition we're currently in. So it doesn't have that same oomph. It doesn't have that same, I need this. I'll be real. And I think the team does. I think the club does. I think the manager does. I think everybody top to bottom needs it. So I can't rest and rotate personally. I know some of you don't want to run the risk because we might be a little bit light on the squads because we literally can see it with the injury news. That sounds like a you problem. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care. If we're light, we're light. That's what happens when you don't take windows seriously. So now we gotta buckle up, saddle up, and sort our shit out. I'm sorry. There's a week in between the games. Let's get into the thick of it. But I wanted to ask my friends, let's see what they have as their biggest FA Cup moment. Maybe it will help convince you to take it seriously, convince us as a club to take it seriously, or maybe not. Let's see what they got to say.
This means a lot to me because it was actually, I was there and it's one of my first Chelsea memories, actually. So I started going in 97 to watch Chelsea games, and I've been very lucky to have a season ticket since 99. So I've been there for a very long time. And I remember in 97, it's of course the Di Matteo goal. Just ridiculous. That was the old Wembley as well. There's so many memories for that around me, like going to the old Wembley, like feeling a football game for the very first, not for the very first time, but for one of my first experiences. And then seeing just one of the most poetic and beautiful goals straight away in the game, like it was in the first minute. And also Di Matteo, I met him afterwards. He actually had a restaurant in Hollywood Road in Stamford Bridge, near Stamford Bridge, I should say. And complete and utter gentleman, super friendly and approachable in a way that players just aren't these days. I remember waiting outside grounds and actually meeting the players, and Roberto Di Matteo was one of those ones that would always come up, sign the shirts back in the day where signatures actually meant something and it wasn't selfies. But he was an absolute legend. And that goal was so iconic and so technically amazing. I mean, literally to get over the middle of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was there for it to go in the underside of the bar. I mean, it was an exceptional goal. So that would be my ultimate one. The other one that I think we do have to mention, again, I was there, was the Matic goal against Tottenham. Just a ridiculous. It had no right to even go in, did it? That was a baller.
Loved it.
That was a brilliant moment.
I remember, this is a weird one because I don't really remember any of it, but I remember Di Matteo's goal. I think it was either 99 or 2000, and my dad's celebration. My dad went absolutely bonkers. I don't remember watching the game because I was about 5 or 6. Yeah. But I do remember my dad going nuts. So I think the FA Cup is still just as important as anything. I think obviously the League Cup is slightly down the pecking order. The Conference League is a bit of a joke. So realistically, Chelsea can only win the FA Cup this season and it be an actual valuable trophy. So I'm going full strength. I'm not going to be making any kind of changes to what I would consider to be the best Chelsea starting 11. And it's also Brighton. It's become a rivalry recently too. So I mean, they see us as the game they always want to win because we steal their players, we steal their managers, we steal their flipping style of ownership and all the running of the flipping club. So they want to get one over on us. So we got them twice in a week, and I think you beat them twice away from home, and we can really start to build from there. So yeah, I want us to win the FA Cup. Best recent FA Cup memory, I think, was 2018 final. I was there with my old man again. Classic. We won it. We lifted it. And the semi-final as well was Giroud's goal. So I love the FA Cup. I think we should be going out to win it at all costs.
I don't think we should be putting as much precedence and as much focus on the FA Cup as I do think we should be on the league. And I do think that the FA Cup could be a sacrificial lamb in that the ultimate reality is we need to push for Champions League. If we're getting any distractions from the Champions League right now, we're in trouble, because if we don't make that, the club is in a serious problem. Like, we're talking about, we still don't have a front of shirt sponsor. We are struggling to get players in. Like, you know, as much as we banter, you know, Tell or whatever, you know, we couldn't get that pulling power. We obviously wanted someone like that, whether we went in for him or not. So I do think there's an element of like critical mass, like gravity. Like, we need to get all of these things, and for me, I would take a third or a fourth place finish over an FA Cup win 9 times out of 10, and I would do it for this one.
That hurts. So there we are. Now, what is this news that I'm flirting with? What is this news that I don't want to mention and I don't want to speak into existence, but unfortunately it's already real? Mark Gue, our second choice striker, our only outlet, is out. The outlet is out, ladies and gentlemen. Out for this game, out for the foreseeable weeks or months he could be injured for. And Jackson also picked up a knock against West Ham, so it would be a risk to play him in this game, potentially aggravate whatever's going on with him. And that leads me to say, what are we going to play up front? Not who, what? What are we going to play? Is it going to be a person, or is it going to be some sort of inanimate object? Is it going to be an animal? I don't know. At this point, I have to ask, because it's alarming to me how we could be in this position. You know that you need 3 strikers in a squad. One young kid that really is just there for the little mini Shrewsburys, and then 2 competitive, serious gunmen, some seniors. Or even that third could be a positionally versatile player, but we don't have that. And listen, that would be my biggest regret of the window now, in hindsight. But I wanted to ask my friends, what is their biggest regret of the window just gone, and what do they do about the striker situation? Who do they play up front?
I think for me, the biggest regret that I've got from the last 2 windows is Samu Omarodion. I think that is a sliding door moment in terms of Chelsea's transfer policy, in a way that I think we're going to see the ramifications for a long time, and I'll explain why. João Felix coming in was never the signing they wanted, and they spent a fuckload of money to basically get rid of an academy product which we should never really have got rid of in Conor Gallagher. That deal is so wrong in so many ways, in that we've ruined João Felix's season so far. He'll go on and, as you've seen in AC Milan, absolutely smash it up. He'll have a good career elsewhere, but we've still got to sell him. Conor Gallagher looks amazing at Atletico Madrid, and really we could have used a all-attacking, all-purpose central midfielder that could come in and play. And bear in mind, Conor Gallagher has never ever been injured. So,
true.
So we could really do with him. But the one that really worries me more than anything in that is the Samu point. He's going to be a freaking brilliant striker. He's tearing it up at Porto, and I think we could have really used him this season to rest Jackson in moments. And I think you would have got the best out of Jackson. And also, I think the cheat code here is playing Jackson on the left. I think Jackson as a left winger inside attacking forward would be immense. And those 2 up front together, I think they'd score bags of goals. So that's my biggest regret.
Oh, the biggest regret from this transfer window just gone has got to be not signing a backup striker. I think the irony of Mark Gue getting injured the first game, not even after the transfer window closed, like during the dying embers of the window, he gets injured. Jackson has another stinker and he's hooked at half time, and we didn't address that problem. I just fear it could be goals and actually finishing our chances that could be the difference between top 4 or not top 4. So I think for me, it's got to be that. I mean, we technically did sign a midfielder, didn't we? So I can't come crying about that one, or we easily could. And we've dropped Sanchez. So I guess that's kind of part of the problem solved. But for me, it's got to be the striker, Matisse. It has to be.
My follow-up tap mini on that one is, if Gue and Jackson are out, are you starting Palmer as a false 9 like we saw against Arsenal last season? He actually played
Yes.
pretty well. Or in Nkunku. Which one would you go for?
I'm starting Palmer there, and then Nkunku behind him. I don't think I just can't see Nkunku as a striker. It doesn't work for me. He doesn't work hard enough in that position. So I'd be starting Palmer in the false 9.
So can I say neither?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I'll explain this. So I've said several times that I never want to see Christopher Nkunku as a striker ever again.
Same,
like whatever club he's at, whatever he goes on to do in his future, even if he goes and plays at Sports Aid, I don't want to see him playing as a striker.
Jesus.
So I just never want to see it. So I will never play. If I was the manager at Chelsea, I would never play Nkunku in that role. Like the only roles that I'd ever be playing him as a number 10 or as left winger. That would be it. That would be it. Or maybe as a number 8 when we're attacking games and having Caicedo in behind him, potentially play him there. That's the only position I'd play him. Cole Palmer as a false 9 doesn't work. Remember Middlesbrough last year. I don't think I need to say very much more than that, to be honest with you. And I also think he's wasted up there in that he's very good at pressing, but really we need him deeper. We need him, spraying the balls up, picking balls out, those sort of incisive passes. I think you're wasting him out there. I've been thinking about this quite a lot, and I'll give you 2 options that I think are potentials. The first option, and they have mentioned this, is Tyreek George playing there, which is really rogue, but that is an option. Wow. That wouldn't be my shout. Okay. My shout would actually be Pedro Neto, and the reason why. I think if you're going Fox in the box, striker that can poach and get goals, a guy that can, get finishes out of nothing, I think Pedro Neto is better placed in that role. And I think that the wingers around him, with Noni on one side and Sancho on the other, can all rotate. But I want Pedro to be the one that is predominantly through the middle. So that would be the one that I would play. I haven't heard anyone talking about that, and I don't think it would happen, but that's what I would do.
So we had some rogue shouts in there. Neto I was not expecting, right? Palmer false 9, remember against Arsenal last season. I'm actually going to go with a different option. You could go with the kid from the academy, Muku. You could go with him. But I'm going to go with maybe Sancho. I just think Sancho false 9, close control, back to goal. He's good at holding people off. He retains possession well. And it has to be false 9 because he's not a striker. He's not someone with box presence. He's not someone that's going to be on the end of crosses. But I'm saying in general play, in open play, if he receives the ball, you can count on him to keep it. You can count on him to find the right pass, right weight of pass. And then after that, whoever's around him's got to be given the goals, got to be given the runs in behind. It's a Bobby Firmino and a Salah Mane situation. Unfortunately, we don't have all 3. So that's my solution right now, because I don't think the kid from Academy is ready to go and start, but he should be on the bench. You guys let me know in the comments down below, what are you doing with this situation, because it's not good. It's not looking good, bruv. Yeah, it's peak. I also asked the boys what tactical switch or what selection change would they make that Maresca doesn't usually, if they could for the rest of the season have it like this, how would it be? This
is a bold one again, and I even hate myself for saying this, but I want Malo Gusto at right back. I love Reece James. I always have and I always will. But I just don't think he's got the legs anymore. And I think Chelsea looks such a better team when Gusto can bomb forward and he's got that recovery speed to get back as well. And I just don't think we get that with Reece. I think, and I understand it because obviously he's been out for so long, there's been so many injuries, but I just think he's a bit too safe. I think if Gusto's given a run of games to kind of recoup some of that form we saw last season, I think he will. I think he's a quality footballer. And I just think Chelsea look a lot more aggressive with Gusto on the pitch. And I think that's been something that we've been clinically lacking recently. Obviously, we still got to finish the chances. I don't expect Gusto to come in and get us goals that Reece has done in the past. But I just don't think Reece can do it anymore. I hate myself for saying it. I really do.
It's tough.
But I think Gusto's got to be out there, personally.
Weirdly, and I wouldn't want this in every single game, but I actually do think the 5 at the back system fits the squad that we have currently. Yeah. I don't know what you feel, mate, but I personally do feel that the wing areas at the moment are probably our most underperforming and sort of weakest areas. And I think that what we get with the 5 at the back system is that we would enable Nkunku and Palmer to be in the same team and play together. And I think I would say that's the biggest objective that Maresca needs to do at the moment, is get those 2 boys in the same team, their quality, the technical ability that they have. And I also think when you play games like the Man City game, where quite frankly those centre-backs will run ragged in a way that I haven't seen a Chelsea defence run ragged in a very long time, just bossed by, fair enough, one of the best strikers in the world. But I think that having a young centre-back three of a Colwill, of a Chalobah, and then, mix and match, whether it's a Tosin or whoever it is. Even for me, I think Reece James' best role now after the injuries is potentially as one of those centre-backs as well. Then you enable Gusto to play, then you enable Cucurella to bomb on. You get the solidity of the back three, so you don't need to worry too much about the defensive side of Caicedo and Enzo's game. So I think that might be a good thing that Enzo looks at. And he did, to be fair to him, he looked at it at the West Ham game and look what happened.
I really like them answers. Yeah, I really like them answers. You got Gusto. And you know what I think about Gusto's positioning up and down in terms of the overlap? We've even got ourselves a back three formation like Tommy T. And I think it suits the squad. And I said it for the Wolves, as I said, the Wolves preview, we spoke about Thomas Tuchel and the 3-4-3 and the 2-10s. But I'm going to go simple and plain and boring just to be different from my friends. I'm going to go Jorgensen because I cannot stand Sanchez any longer. I do not need any more shaky, quaky, moments from him. He sends shiver me timbers down the spine of the back line, and I just need some continuity and some consistency. If we can get a quartet or a triple threat of 3-4 defenders, including the keeper, that are consistent until the end of this season, our defensive records should improve just from having relationships built and bonds. Now, is Colwill included in that? Is that someone that should be starting this game, or should he just be on the bench after the recent performances? I've asked my friends what they think. Let's see what they got to say.
I think whatever happens, right now, I'd say based on form, I'd take him out. I'd put Tosin and Chalobah there, or like you say, give Reece a shot with probably Trev. But I would say whatever Maresca does now, just 10 games in a row, 15 games in a row, as long as injuries permit this to happen, just pick the same two players. Give whoever isn't playing Conference League minutes, but we need to start to see consistency with the selections when it comes to the back line, because I think the fact that we've been so inconsistent defensively, there's moments where we look like we're containing things and we look good, but like the amount of times it's one centre-back pulled out of position here, one centre-back pulled out of position there, but the partnership changes every game. So right now, to be honest, I would take Colwill out of the team. But then I also think we also need to prioritise picking the same two centre-backs for a run of games so that they can build some kind of rapport. I guess maybe he's dropped. I back Tosin, I think Tosin is quietly becoming quite an important player for us. He keeps having big moments, scored goals as well in the Cup in the last round, so I think he probably deserves a start in this one. Maybe it's Tosin and Chalobah between for now and the end of the season. I don't know, but I think probably drop Colwill at this point.
I think the criticism of Levi Colwill is insane. And I'm saying that from a stance of that was one of the worst performances we've seen, at Chelsea centre backs. The way he dealt with Haaland, and I do think it was really more often than not his responsibility. But what we've got to remember is this guy, he's 21. And the fact is you don't just lose quality overnight. Like every single team up and down the land wanted him. For me personally, Colwill would be the first name in the back four that I would play. And the reasons why is I just do think his passing ability is really good. I think he is solid defensively more often than not. And I also think he will progress and get better the more he plays. And also, I think if you're looking at it, just quality pound for pound, centre-backs, Colwill is the best one. And I think maybe that's an indication that we do need to strengthen in the summer. And for me, if you are looking at transfers and looking where we do need to strengthen, for me, I do think that the striking position is the one that we really need to focus on. But I do also think that the centre-backs need to be right up there as well. Like for me, if I was ranking it, I'd go striker, centre-backs, and then I think about a goalkeeper. Beyond that, I wouldn't worry too much. But that is also saying that we don't need to replace Mykhailo Mudryk, which we probably will do, to be fair. I wouldn't worry too much about Levi Colwill, and I do worry about the criticism. I think it's unfair.
So there you are on Colwill. Now, you know what my thoughts are. I think he's got potential. I think I liken him to Christensen a lot because of the ability on the ball, but he is fragile. He can be weak. He can be bullied. I do think he's going to be a top defender. However, right now he's clearly not. I think you should take him out the firing line this game, just purely because obviously the last good defensive performance we had, he wasn't in it. Chalobah tossing against Wolves, James. Let's go with that. And if there's no individual errors and there's no hiccups and no issues, then you know you can run with it into the next game and the next game. And like I said, try and build some consistency. And I'm putting Jorgensen in goal as well. However, if there are issues, if there are hiccups, are there mistakes, individuals making errors, and we can see goals, well then you know it's a collective. Well then you know it's everyone involved here, including maybe even the fact Sanchez, Colwell, just whoever is the weak point, it's spread across the team, even when you take both of them out. So that's my solution to that problem. I don't know if it's realistic that, you know, your Sanchez and Colwell are both not going to start this Brighton game, but I'd probably say Chalobah left side centre back like against Wolves, Reece James on the right, and you've got yourself Tosin in the middle, Jorgensen in goal, and let's just see if all the senior, most experienced players in the defence outside of the keeper can keep it calm and keep it composed. I also, as I always have to, ask for some score predictions because I need to know if the confidence is there. I have to check the room temperature, ladies and gentlemen. So I did. Let's see what they had to say.
3-1 Chelsea. I think we're going to win this.
Nice.
I think I don't know, Brighton, after watching them against Forest last week, like if we just take a little ounce of what Forest did to them, I think Forest are a significantly better team than us right now. But if we could just even remotely look at that game and try something like that, like we'll batter them. 3-1, we're going to win the cup, mate. Come on.
I think if we do go full strength or near enough full strength, and I think, you know, like I think Reece is going to probably, you know, get a rest, which is well deserved. You know, I think there'll be some other players that might be rested. It'd be interesting what happens with the goalkeeper, by the way. I mean, if Sanchez plays, then I think this could be very different. If Jorgensen plays, which I'm presuming he would do, I think it will be a 3-1 or a 2-1. I'm going to go 3-1. The reason why I say that is they've got a fuckload of injuries. Have you seen how many injuries they've got? Yeah.
I've seen, yeah. It's mad.
I'm going to go 3-1. What would you say?
I'm sneaking a 2-1. Well, there you are. Like I said, I'm sneaking in a 2-1 win. I am worried, concerned. I don't know what the team selection is going to be. I have a bad feeling Nkunku's going to be up front, back to goal, Palmer in the 10. And as you were for the rest, I'm praying and hoping that we get a surprise, but I don't really know what surprise I want. I just want a surprise. This is what happens, guys. This is what happens. Even João Felix, you know, if he could have been a false nine, if he could have been a player that played up front, he's gone to AC Milan. Washington, he's gone with Brazil and could be joined, I think, you know, should be with Santos after that, if that deal has gone through with Neymar. Even the other options we had to play up front, we don't even have anymore. That's how much of a crap situation we're in. We already were in a bad situation, and the two players that were here already that could have helped, they're not here anymore. You couldn't write it. You could not write it. But this is what happens when you don't take windows seriously and you just piss about and mash around. And you find yourself in this situation. And like I said, this is only the beginning. There's many games to play. That midfield is next. I don't want it to be. Touch wood, it's not. But that midfield, we're knocking on the door. We're knocking on the devil's door. And I'm pretty sure at some point soon, he's going to open. So, guys, 2-1 prediction, we pray, but the squad is in a bad way. Make sure you smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe. You let me know in the comments down below, what would you do? All of those questions, give me solutions, give me something. Let us leave with something, because right now, I'm dazed and deluded, yeah? Delusional, dumbfounded. I'm done. In a bit, people. Peace.